Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bare Bones Wargaming, a show with no bells, no whistles, no frills, just a man, a camera, and his game. Now we're continuing with our playthrough here of the Midway Solitaire, and we have now reached the point where the Japanese are about to initiate operations on the AL, the Aleutian line. There. So, now, unlike last video, things are going to move a little faster this time. Let me put things up here a little bit. Simply because now that I've kind of talked about some things, we'll be able to move with more alacrity, as it were. So, here we go. So, spotting attempt. Well, there's nobody moved on that Japanese line yet, so no need for spotting attempt. Task force movement. Let's find out here. So, the carrier strike force. And then we have a main body, and we have an invasion force. So the carrier task force is rolling. Second carrier task force 1, 2, 3 spaces out, so they can maybe launch an attack on Dutch Harbor right off the bat here. The main body force moved 1 space. I'm sorry, the invasion force moved 1 space, and the main body moved 1 space as well. So clearly they're hanging out back there a little bit. We'll zoom in on them. There they are. Alright, so they're on the move. Okay. Now, U.S. reaction step. Well, this one here, I could go ahead and try to spot them because the Aleutian force here is only 2 spaces, 2 spaces away from the carrier strike force. So I could try to use that land-based air, but more importantly, perhaps for me, is to find out exactly what's there. So a spotting attempt basically is a 50-50 proposition. You roll a die, 1 through 3 you spot, 4 through 6 I should say, you do not. The only thing that modifies it is basically which side of the line you are on. And that's it. Okay, so the U.S. gets -1 if it is east or south of the perimeter line. The Japanese get -1 if it's north and west of the line there. And also you get a -1 if it's in the same space, which in this case it's not. So let's see if I can find anything here with my aircraft from the base. Nope, even with the -1, 6 -1 is 5. So I could not spot them. Alright. So, no luck with there. So now the Japanese are back on the move here again. So now again, this Japanese air launch step, this is one of the trickier things about the rules is, how do you decide, or not decide, but so much not reveal right away what the carrier force is like? Because obviously part of the game, part of the fun of the game, and the challenge is not finding out too early. So what I've done is this. Anytime I have to have a force like this carrier strike force here launch an attack, I basically pretend it's 1 CV and 1 CVL. And the counters on the Japanese aircraft are pretty standard on that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use 1 big one, 1 small one for bombers. And that's basically a 2 and a 1 factor. That's it. So let's go ahead and we'll just hypothetically do that without revealing anything. And we've got these 2, so the Japanese, the air units, first thing, there'll be fighter combat if there was any, but there's no fighters. The U.S. unit there is not a fighter unit because it's parentheses. Combat number, air number is parenthesized, so that means it's defensive only. So, first bomber, roll a 6, needing 2 or less, and the hit numbers are always equal to or less than. And then the light CVL one, roll a 3 or less, no good. The American base up there needs a 2 or less. And it missed. So, no harm, no foul there. Nothing basically happened with that strike force. And again, remember, the Japanese can only take activities that are along the line that's activated. So, the Japanese right now could not do anything on the Midway line even though they moved last turn. Okay? There's no mutual combat because we're not in the same space. No amphibious, no morale to worry about. Return step, you fly the planes back to the carrier, which I just kind of do right away because, yeah. Logistics, there's nothing to worry about because there's nothing broken, so to speak. Okay, on to the U.S. side here. Reinforcements. All right. So again, I want to kind of get some of these surface units into the game as fast as possible. So I'm going to bring this other U.S. destroyer unit into the west coast here. Let me zoom back out now that we're talking about bigger parts of the map again. So again, I've come over here to the west coast and I've deployed that unit. Okay. No naval air to assign. Combining task force. Don't really need to do that just yet. It's not necessary. The combining step, though, too, I can take this destroyer and battleship and put it with Task Force 11. So that's what I'm going to do. Because that'll make a nice, strong task force, especially a surface one here. Got 2 destroyer groups and a battleship group. So that would be nasty, dealing with the Japanese. Okay, spotting attempts. Now, with the U.S. spotting attempt, remember, I can go ahead and anywhere on the map I can attempt to spot. So, I could still go ahead, even though I can't launch the strike, I still could try and spot from Dutch Harbor. So that's what I'm going to do, since the carrier force is near there, and of course, knowledge is power, and knowing is half the battle, as G.I. Joe used to say in the 80s. Let's see if we find anything. Ah, we rolled a 1. So, we will get to find out, and we have spotted the Japanese force. So, let's go ahead here, and let's zoom in on the second carrier force here, so you can watch it as I reveal it. Dun dun dun! Who is there? Dun dun dun! Sorry, I should probably invest in some sound effects at some point, huh? Okay, there you go. Second carrier strike force. So let's see what we get. What's there? Surface force. Oh! One of them is a deception marker. So there's a deception marker, which means nobody there. There's also a cruiser force. And there's 3 carriers. What do we got? Well, whoa. We've got 2 big carriers. The Hiryu and the Kaga. And then we have the light Japanese carrier, the Zuyoho. Alright, so that is a formidable force. So I probably need to get a task force up there to go after them ASAP. Alright, so at least, whoops, wrong direction. Again, still learning the camera. Let's zoom back out here. And let's go ahead and let's get ourselves centered back on the map. Alright, so that's good news that I was able to spot and find things out. Nothing else really to spot right now because there's no Japanese surface forces within range. Let's check our intelligence for next turn. No luck, we didn't crack any Japanese codes, so we don't know anything about it. Now, I can do some rebasing here. I can move bombers anywhere around the map. Same thing with the fighters that land-based fighters that I have. But naval air, rebasing naval air must be done on the same route line. And basically, I'm sure that's due to range. So, I don't really feel the need to rebase anything right now. I mean, I guess I could send some more planes up to Port Moresby from Australia, but those big bomber units there, they would reach up there anyway if I need them to. I got the hiccups this morning for some reason. Alright, so, we won't worry about that. Yeah, okay. And of course, so, see, again, when you're playing a solitaire game, you really got to follow everything carefully. I jumped from the signals intelligence. There's no airstrike to really perform. I mean, I could use that plane from the Aleutians, but you know what? They would probably get chewed up by the Zeros at this point in time in the war, let's be honest. So I'm not going to do that. Move task force, now that I will do. Okay? And moving task force again, I can move one of them. So I'm going to send task force 16 up to the north to engage here. Now, since I do have Fletcher, I can move 1 extra space. So 1, 2, 3, and we'll be closing in on the Japanese force up there because since the, what was it, Kaga? Yeah, and Hiryu are there, I definitely want to engage them ASAP and try to send them to Davy Jones' locker as fast as possible. Okay, so no mutual combat, no return. Logistics, I don't need to repair anything just yet. Oh no, that's not true. That's right. I did lose that 1 air unit at Midway when we had that air combat when they tried to bomb Midway. So, repairing the air unit now. We got to see if it's repairable. And again, there are, let's zoom in over here. Actually, let me just go ahead and move the whole tripod first, then we'll zoom in. Here we go. Again, over here on this side, there are a ton of charts. So, uh-oh, my battery light is flashing. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to quickly finish off this turn. If the unit is repairable, it will go onto the track at a certain spot. It is repairable. So fighters go on the 3 spot and bombers on the 4 spot. When that happens, I'm not going to withdraw anything, don't have to refit anything. I don't have to do any damage attempt. My Saratoga is going to move forward to the next box. And the end of turn step, the big thing, of course, here is I should have flipped this over when I spotted it and should have put it back.